Your election headquarters. Election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, and the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants and Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, and Youth Breed Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. Now, we will hold everyone accountable. The pledge of John Dramani Mahama, as it serves notice that a future NDC government will punish all government officials found to have abused their office. The NDC says it is ready to assume the reins of power after the December election. Speaking to a large crowd of NDC supporters at the Jubilee Park in Tamale, where the NDC launched its national campaign, John Dramani Mahama urged the youth to vote massively for the NDC, assuring the party has competent men and women who are capable of turning the fortunes of the economy around.
We talked about the introduction of primary health care. When the manifesto is put out, you'll see the provisions that are there for primary health care. We're going to uncap the NHIS. Currently, this government has capped the NHIS and is taking some of the NHIS money into the consolidated fund. And that is why when you go with your NHIS card, the hospitals are reluctant to serve you because they don't refund the claims that they make. So we'll uncap the NHIS so that when you go, you can get good, affordable treatment at our health facilities. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue to remove schools under trees. Professor Mill started that program, and we provided good school environment for hundreds of thousands of children. We're going to continue the removal of schools under trees and improve our basic education. For tertiary students, we're going to take a part of your university land. We will say to your universities, they will carve out a portion of your land. And we're going to work with the private sector to build student hostels so that you will live on campus and not live elsewhere and suffer the danger of traveling to and from home to school. We want our tertiary students to live on campus so that they can stay on campus and learn. There are several instances where students leaving the university and going for accommodation outside the university have either been knocked down by vehicles, attacked by armed robbers, or have found themselves in danger. There are many, many things that we intend to do, but let me just address finally our party. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an election like no other. And if you say you are NDC, then you better get prepared. The Constitution says they still have 5 months to go. But come December, we must take the decision that will change the trajectory of our country. The world is waiting for a signal. Ghana is waiting for a signal. Investors are all holding on because they want to see what will happen in Ghana. We must take a decision on 7th December that shows the world that we're serious people and that we know that our country needs a turnaround. And so 7th December, let us all make sure we come out in our numbers and we vote so that we move this government out.
Our Vice President and flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Bawumia, has disclosed that he will be setting up a mineral development bank in order to support the work of small-scale miners in the country. He said there is so much in the country which is yet to be explored, and the setting up of a mineral development bank will be similar to the Agricultural Development Bank, and it will empower persons working in the mining sector to improve their mining business. JoyNews' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Jirapa.
Speaking at the final day of his 4-day campaign tour of the Upper West Region at Jirapa, Vice President and 2024 flag bearer of the MPP, Dr. Bawumia, rolled out policies that he intends to implement should he be given the nod to lead the country. First was agriculture, where over 68% of the people are into, which he believes, if implemented, will have tremendous impact on the lives of the people.
When I am president, I am going to focus on agriculture to make sure our farmers are able to increase their productivity. We'll give them better technology, give them tractors to work with, and give them money to be able to do the farming that they are doing.
Next was small-scale mining.
Ghana has a lot of gold resources, 5 billion ounces of gold resources that have not yet been explored. I want us to promote small-scale mining so that the geological survey can designate where the gold can be found. And we will give our miners the concessions. We will give them the licenses so that they can do small-scale mining. I want the small-scale miners to make a lot of money. I want many of them to be dollar millionaires. I want them to be very, very wealthy, but I'm going to support them. So I'm setting up a minerals development bank. Just like we have a Greek development bank, we will have a minerals development bank to give you money to buy equipment so that when you bring out the gold you sell, you can pay for the equipment.
The issue of energy also found space in the speech of Dr. Bawumia, which he wishes to address using solar power in order to reduce the cost of electricity in the country.
The cost of electricity is high because we are importing oil and gas to produce electricity. But the technology now exists. Ghana to move away from oil and gas to solar power. That is the power God has given us for free. We are going to harness solar power and bring 2,000 megawatts of solar power, more than half our consumption, and we will reduce electricity prices by 50%. We'll bring it down.
MPP parliamentary candidate for Jiruba, Aisa Salafo Dagati, urged the people to vote for her to help bring development to the area.
You have tested me locally, yet to go to parliament to represent you, and you know what I have done so far on the grounds. And I am telling you today, you sent me there without my brother, the flag bearer. Yes, we would get there, but I will not be able to do as much as I want to, because we are not only looking at Jirapa.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Jiruba.
You're watching JoyNews Prime. We'll be back to tell you about a family of young Moses Adai who has been handed a fully furnished 3-bedroom apartment by the multimedia group. Do stay tuned in. Thanks for staying with us. It was all joy when the family of young Moses Adai was handed a fully furnished 3-bedroom apartment at Trede in the Chima district of the Ashanti region. The 16-year-old boy, who was featured in JoyNews' Hotline documentary Crushed Young, produced by Seth Kwame Boateng, had one of his lower limbs amputated following a car crash. But what the family thought could be an end to his progress in life turned into a life-changing encounter through the benevolence of listeners on Asempa FM Echo Season show. Emmanuel Bright Kweku was at the handing over ceremony. He filed this report.
An emotional mother and her son, amazed at a moment they had previously thought would elude them, what they perceived to be a life of sorrow turned bliss. I never imagined this would happen to my family and me. I had planned to beg on the streets if I had no help, but what you've done today is unimaginable. Their share amusement follows an intervention by the Ekosi Sen Impact Project together with the multimedia group and JL Properties, who handed over a fully furnished 3-bedroom apartment to the family's surprise.
Pirate and next.
Young Moses Ade was featured in JoyNews' Hotline documentary Crashed Young, produced by Seth Kwame Boateng, which highlighted the devastating impact of road crashes that took the jolly life of victims. At a young age of 13, Moses was knocked out by a speeding vehicle while returning from an errand that left his right leg amputated. I was praying to God to allow me move on in life. I was worried about the bills. Moses is now a second-year student at the Adventist SHS Bantama. He has already undergone 8 surgeries and has 2 more to undergo. Moses is poised to actualize his dream of becoming a pilot. Because of the soul, I don't attend school regularly, but these items would really help with my studies. To help actualize his dreams, the group also donated some educational materials, including a laptop and a tablet to aid his learning. Moses is set to receive prosthetics after successful treatment of his limbs. Philip Osebonsu is the lead for the Ekosisen Impact Project.
The late John Kuma, as I said earlier, came to our aid and paid for prosthetics, which is artificial legs. That would take him for the next 15-20 years, and that was some 70,000 Ghana cedis. So that has been deposited at the National Orthopedic Center in Nsawam, Ariane School. And they also promised to build, to create a mini library for Moses in the house, so he will be able to study.
The building, sponsored by JL Properties, is a 3-bedroom apartment fully furnished with all home essentials, including television, beds, washrooms, and a kitchenette. Branch manager of JL Properties, Efriye Amwakwa Mensa, reiterated the company's commitment to supporting the initiative that uplifts the underprivileged.
And so we are a real estate company. We develop homes for a living. So when this came, this fell right within our vision and then our mission, because in as much as we are in there to do business, we also like to give back to the society.
A fully stocked mini-mart was also established for the family to sustain their well-being. Jimmy Agla is the general manager for the Kumasi business unit of the Multimedia Group.
On behalf of the Multimedia Group, once again, I want to thank all our benevolent donors, charitable organizations, our sponsors, and everybody who helped to make this project a success.
The gesture is one that will leave an everlasting impression on the family as they get to relive a joyous life and set out to accomplish their life aspirations. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Acting Head of Program for Non-Communicable Diseases at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Ifua Kome, has called for an effective national strategy and a regional approach to address the increasing prevalence of non-communicable diseases in Ghana. Speaking at the West African College of Physicians' annual scientific meeting on NCDs, she emphasized the urgency of developing preventive strategies that the public can readily adopt and respond to. There's more in this report by Semefa Besu.
Health experts who spoke on a recent JoyNews National Dialogue on NCDs warned that non-communicable diseases could be the next pandemic, with over 94,000 Ghanaians dying annually from this condition. Despite the rising cases of diabetes, hypertension, kidney failures, and cancer, effort to combat this silent crisis remains insufficient. The Ghana chapter of the West African College of Physicians convened its 47th annual General Scientific Meeting, centering discussions on NCDs and the impact of Ghana's mortality rate, and exploring effective strategies for the prevention and management of NCDs in the country. Dr. Ifua Kome, Acting Head of Programs for Non-Communicable Diseases at the Ghana Health Service, highlighted the burdens that NCDs place on Ghana's healthcare system and economy.
Generally, for us as a country, we realize that resources are limited. And generally, we know that prevention is always better than cure. So we are promoting prevention as a first strategy. Prevention just means that we need to put in measures that would ensure the disease don't come at all. One key thing we talk about are lifestyle-related issues. First and foremost, the sort of diets that we eat. Our diets are very high in salt, sugars, and fats. It's a well-known thing. It's important we can even teach our children to reduce the amount of salt intake, to reduce the sugar-sweetened beverages, the fizzy drinks that they consume all the time. Now, these are very simple messages that we still need to drum into our children.
She emphasized the critical need for a national and regional approach to combat these diseases.
When you're addressing these diseases, it's essential that you create a national direction, like the prevention I talked about, so that everybody understands that we want to prevent the disease before it even starts. However, at the regional and even district level, specific communities have things that are peculiar to them. We all know that even the sort of language we speak is so different. So regions organize region-specific activities. Districts organize district-specific activities. One region might be extremely concerned about diabetes because of the cases that they record. Another one, it might be because of cancers. So the messaging is not the same. It's always targeted at the peculiar problems for that area, but as much as possible you create the national direction so that all of them will be guided, and multiple documents have been developed to guide these efforts, but generally it's not a one-size-fits-all approach that is being used.
The meeting concluded with a consensus on the necessity for coordinated national efforts to tackle the growing NTD pandemic and the need to improve research systems for accurate data collection. With Joyce Semefakbasi's report read to you.
And that's it for JoyNews Prime. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Good night.